it can feel completely impossible to get your home decluttered. And a lot of people, they just want to get their home decluttered, but they're just so busy. So here today, we're going to go into how to declutter more because I have a very busy day and I am going to deal with this closet by only decluttering for 15 minutes. We'll see how far I can get. I think I can get most of it done. I think I can get most of it done because I actually have to go to work for a short shift. Now, let me share something with you. One of my biggest faults is getting stuck in perfectionism because I will think that if I cannot devote a lot of time, then nothing will get done. Now, since this is a busy day, I decided to jump into an area that might be fast, like this spaghetti forest of coats. And I also have a meatball mountain of shoes. Now, I always get my boxes ready as you saw before, and I like to use a timer. And now I'm going to explain the crazy stuff that I declutter in just a moment. But first, I want to explain my top tips for decluttering more. Now, first, I get organized and I use those boxes like I showed you. Typically, I will use 4 boxes, one for garbage, one for recycling, one to sell/donate. Usually, I am not selling a lot, and one for things to bring home. Now, in this case, I actually decided that I was just going to use the 2 boxes because I did not really anticipate I would be throwing much away in the garbage, and I didn't really think anything had to go home, and that's okay. I mean, this was basically just an example of how to do things faster, and if I did have stuff going in the garbage and the recycling, I could always split that up later. This is a small space, and going through the shoes is just hilarious because my children are growing and their shoes are gross and just all of that stuff. The other thing, you can see that timer that I had on the ground. I set that for 15 minutes. I like that timer because it's very visual. Quite often, I will just use the watch timer I have on my Apple Watch. That's actually one of the main reasons I have not gotten rid of my Apple Watch, because sometimes I'm going to tell you something, I really think about it. Now, my number one biggest tip is to consistently declutter. If you declutter just about every day, if you look at decluttering as something that you are working towards, like as a project, what you would do is you would work towards it every day. If you had a project, say you were remodeling your house, ideally you're going to work on that almost all of the time. And if you don't, then you're going to be behind. So see it as like, this is a project that I'm working on. This is not just something that I'm doing on the weekends. This is not just something that you are just randomly doing. You want to get your home decluttered. I have completely decluttered my home, yet I still am doing, basically I'm going through my whole house again right now. I'm doing a maintenance declutter. So definitely keep popping into these videos because you are joining me on this ride. Now I'm going to share something with you. If you consistently declutter, if you even only spend half an hour a day decluttering your house, then you will get 182 hours of decluttering in just 1 year. Now, I know you might be like, oh my gosh, a year. I'm not saying you need to take a year. The other thing is, say you only want to do 15 minutes a day, which is what I'm doing here. Like, I am getting ready to go to work. I have to clean the kitchen. I have to make cookies, but I can actually get so much done because I am just doing 15 minutes today. And if you want to get your whole home decluttered and you want to work just 15 minutes a day, that's 90 hours a year. Think about what you need to declutter in your house. Do you think that you could get your home decluttered in 90 hours? I bet you could, especially if you are very confident in your decision making. Like, you're not just sort of wishy-washy and like, I don't know. Like, if you go through the right questions, which I have talked about before, and I will share at the end. Now, look, I still had 5 minutes left, which is very helpful. Now, we are having a little intermission while I take Crumpet outside. You can't really tell, but it was a very sunny day, which is very rare on Vancouver Island in the winter time. So Crumpet has cerebellar hypoplasia. His balance is very bad, so he has to be supervised. There are actual eagles that will come and kidnap cats and small dogs, but Crumpet is so overweight that I don't think that is a problem at the moment. So there you go. But he does need to be supervised because he could fall down and just be like trapped in like a bush or something. Anyway, so I am cleaning up my kitchen because the morning dishes had not been done yet. The kids are off at school. One of my kids emptied the dishwasher before he left, which is lovely. And my rule is that if they do it when it's ready to be done, then I will load it. So I am loading it and just tidying up. I forgot. No, it's not that I forgot. I was away and I did not get Valentine gifts for my family. Now, we are not a family that like heavily celebrates Valentine's Day, and you let me know if you are. But what I did instead was I decided I was just going to make cookies. In the past, I've made like heart pancakes and given the kids like chocolates and like the cinnamon hearts, all the yummy stuff. But this year I thought instead I wanted to make some cookies. Now, this is actually Valentine's Day when I'm doing this. So I needed to get those cookies made because I had to go to work. And by the time I got home, everybody would be home at the end of the day. So I wanted to get the kitchen clean so that I could get those cookies ready. And then I was like, okay, I have some butter that needed to be softened. And I don't know what happened to the audio here, but that's fine. I'm just going to chat over myself. So anyway, I like to weigh my butter when I'm baking. And I know you're not here for the cooking, so I'm just going to zip this along. But shortly, I'm going to show you what I decluttered. But first, I just want to show you sort of like how I am a busy person, like so many of you. But you can get your home decluttered. Now, one thing I want to share is that Parkinson's law, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Parkinson's law basically is that we will fill up any given amount of space with a job that we have to do. So if you are decluttering your house and you give yourself an hour, say I was going to declutter that closet and I said to myself, I'm giving myself an hour instead of these 15 minutes. I would probably spend about an hour doing it instead of the, 10 to 15 minutes it took. And the reason why I was so fast is because, number one, it wasn't that bad, but it's because I knew I had a finite period of time. And that is one thing that you can remember when you want to declutter more, because being more consistent with your decluttering is how you will declutter more because you are getting it done. Now, one thing I want to point out that is great about having a decluttered house is that it is easier to clean. Now, I consider myself minimalist light, meaning that I don't have extra stuff hanging around, but I do have certain things. Like I believe it or not, I actually have 2 KitchenAid mixers that I use when I am baking and making bread. And that's actually why I have 2 KitchenAid mixers, is because I want to be able to make like a huge batch of bread. And I'm okay with that because that is something that I use. Now, I do not believe that people should get rid of absolutely everything, but look, it is very easy and quick to clean my kitchen. Even though I decided I was not going to clean that cutting board behind there, as you can see, because somebody else left it there. And you'll see I just keep checking my watch because I got to get ready to go to work. And back to the minimalist light thing, think about this for yourself. For me, I live in Canada, and no matter where you live, like if you get different seasons and different weather, like I know, my goodness, like people in Florida, they said it gets cold here too, So we have, like, I need a jacket for when it is very cold out. But I live on Vancouver Island where it is damp and cool most of the time. So I need a couple of different jackets for when it is not summer. Basically, I need a rain jacket and a lighter jacket plus a jacket for when it's like really cold out. And same with my family. So the thing is, like, A lot of people will say like, oh, you don't need more than one jacket. Well, it's like, well, you know what? I actually do. So just don't beat yourself up when it comes to the decluttering, but being consistent is so helpful. And asking yourself the questions like, does this serve me? Is this helping me? Do I like this? Like when it comes to artwork and stuff.
I am so excited at how fluffy this dough is. Ah, it's so fun. I probably next time would use my bigger mixer. I got my bigger mixer because of making bread, and like this one recipe I have, the bread, like the dough gets caught up here and there'd be like grease, so I'd have to take that out. This is such a huge recipe. I did not realize it. My family's gonna be thrilled. I am not, because I'm like trying to, well, I just got back from being away and I ate a lot of junk food and I want to eat healthy, but also I want them to eat healthy. But anyway, they're gonna be happy because there's gonna be a lot of cookies here. So anyway, this is a huge batch of cookies and I gotta get going here. I gotta work in just over an hour. This is a little not the right size, but that's okay. We're gonna make do.
Another really important tip for decluttering more is to have a more of a decluttered house is to bring less into your house. Now, part of the reason why I'm like making cookies for my family, or I just get like chocolate and candy, and I'm not a huge advocate for sugar, but what I am an advocate for is less trinkets, less gifts that people don't really want. So often in the past, it was just like random little things that would end up just sort of kicking around the house, ending up in just sort of miscellaneous piles and drawers and junk drawers and kids' floors and just everywhere. You know, even like in the bathroom where you're like, what the heck is this doing here? And it's just so helpful to just say like, I don't always want to be bringing in gifts. Sometimes I can just make cookies for my family and be like, hey, happy Valentine's Day. We don't really celebrate Valentine's Day big time, but I just like the idea of being like, hey, I'm just like gonna go ahead and make you some cookies. So anyway, now I need to get ready for work.
The good news is it's a short shift. I'm gonna come down, rotate those cookies, and I will be fast. I will be so fast to get ready. Let's go.
Anyway, so the rest of this busy morning, of course, like I want to make my bed. I wasn't always a big bed maker. It wasn't something we were made to do. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really make my kids do it. I probably should have. Actually, I tried, but I was very inconsistent because my ADHD makes me be like, oh, I'm going to go and do this now. So anyway, I made my bed. It always feels so good to have a made bed. And then I need to get ready for work. And now let me just show you me pulling those cookies out. And then I'm going to show you what I decluttered.
Ooh, okay, I'll show you the iced cookies at the end. But first, let's go and look at all that I managed to get decluttered. And I'll show you the after of the closet. Before we do that, I just want to let you know, there have been some crazy stuff going on YouTube. Some of you may know my channel had some issues, but a lot of people have just been unsubscribed from a ton of channels, including Max Miller, who you know I love. Now, go ahead and make sure that if you were subscribed before that you're still subscribed, or if you want to subscribe now, feel free. Now let's get to what I decluttered. Okay, let's look at what I decluttered. Okay, so first of all, these are old KN95 masks. God forbid we ever need those again, but they're small, like they're too small for my kids' faces, so I guess I'll donate them. Husband's shoes don't fit anymore. This vest, there's one of mine buried at the bottom. I don't think we'll use these again. We used them for cross-country ski. I'm going to ask my husband about that. This backpack is going to go. I think I'll wash it first, though. It's very muddy. Jacket of my husband's, like lots of shoes. But one thing I really wanted to point out is these shoes. I think they're super cute, but let me tell you something. They are so uncomfortable, and I forget because, to be honest, like where I live, it's very wet a lot of the time, and then when it's not wet, I may be wearing sandals because it's summer or whatever. But every now and then I put them on, and I hugely regret it. So I am just going to go ahead and donate these because they're in pretty good shape, but they are just so darn uncomfortable. These probably can be thrown away because they are just in disrepair. And now look how gorgeous this closet is. It looks amazing and I love it. You can actually get a lot decluttered, and I managed to get a bunch of other things done before I go to work as a very busy person. Now, if you're wondering what my actual decluttering system is, check this video out here. I hope something great happens for you today. I'll thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.